Isabella Morgan looked at herself in the mirror of her Tesla before getting out. She took a deep breath and walked into an expensive restaurant where her father's 60th birthday party was being held. The invitation had come from her stepmother, Diana, not from her father. Diana loved showing everyone her perfect family. Isabella was 27 years old. She still used her mother's last name, Morgan, because her mother had died of cancer 12 years earlier. Just a few months after the funeral, her father married Diana. From that day on, Isabella felt like she had been replaced by Diana's two children, Marcus and Olivia. Her family believed she was struggling with a small startup and living on the trust fund her mother had left her. What they didn't know was that Isabella was the founder and CEO of Morgan Technologies, one of the world's biggest technology companies, worth billions of dollars. She had kept her identity secret on purpose. As she entered the private dining room, the hostess checked the guest list and handed her a name tag. Isabella looked down and froze. The tag read, "The Disappointment," quietly attached it to her dress. Without saying a word, Diana noticed her immediately. "Isabella, you actually came," she said loudly so everyone could hear. "We weren't sure you could afford to." "Come," Isabella smiled politely. "I wouldn't miss Dad's birthday." Diana looked at Isabella's simple black dress and smiled with fake kindness. "You could have dressed a little better. This isn't a coffee shop." Isabella said nothing. The dress looked simple, but it had been custom-made by one of the world's top fashion designers and cost more than Diana's entire outfit. Her stepbrother Marcus walked over, proudly showing off his expensive watch. "Still working on that little app?" he asked. "Something like that," Isabella replied. Olivia joined them with a smile full of confidence. "Not everyone becomes successful," she said proudly. "Marcus and I have real careers." Isabella quietly sipped her champagne. Earlier that morning, she had received an important email. Richardson Global, the company where Marcus and Olivia worked, was about to be bought for $4.2 billion. The beer was Morgan Technologies, her company. Neither Marcus nor Olivia knew that. Yet, her father finally walked over. "You look nice," he said awkwardly. "Thank you, Dad. Happy birthday." He smiled weakly before Diana called everyone together. "It's time for speeches." Marcus spoke first, praising their father and talking about his own career. Olivia followed, proudly describing her promotions, bonuses, and luxury lifestyle. Both of them kept looking at Isabella with amused smiles. Finally, Diana turned toward her. "Isabella, would you like to say something about your father?" The room became quiet. Many guests expected Isabella to embarrass herself. Instead, she slowly stood up and raised her champagne glass. "Yes," she said calmly. "I would." She walked to the center of the room. "When I was 15, she began. My mother died from cancer. My last conversation with her changed my life. She told me, 'Promise me you'll become someone extraordinary. Never let anyone make you believe you're less than you are.'" Her father looked uncomfortable. Diana's smile slowly disappeared. "Only 2 months after we buried her," Isabella continued, "Dad married Diana. Suddenly I had a new family that made it very clear I didn't belong." Her father interrupted. Isabella ... double quotes. She ignored him. "Diana, do you remember what you told me when I shared my business idea after college?" Diana stayed silent. "You said that some people are born to succeed, while others are only meant to. Watch, you told me to know my place." Marcus laughed quietly. Olivia no longer looked comfortable. "And Dad," Isabella continued, looking directly at him, "when I asked you to help me start my company, you told me not to embarrass you with impossible dreams. You said Marcus and Olivia had real careers." The room was completely silent. "So I made myself a promise. I would succeed. I would prove every one of you wrong." She slowly removed the name tag from her dress and placed it on the table. "The Disappointment." She smiled softly. "I don't think that title belongs to me anymore." Diana stood up angrily. "That's enough." "No," Isabella replied. "I'm just getting started." She picked up her phone and connected it to the restaurant's large presentation screen. A headline appeared on the wall: Richardson Global, acquired by Morgan Technologies in $4.2 billion deal. Marcus frowned. What is this? Isabella smiled. Tomorrow morning this announcement becomes public. As part of the acquisition, every senior executive will have to reapply for their jobs. She looked directly at Marcus and Olivia, especially those who received promotions because of family connections instead of ability. Their confident smiles disappeared. This isn't funny, Diana said. Isabella touched the screen again. A new page appeared. It showed her photograph. Isabella Morgan, founder and CEO of Morgan Technologies. The room exploded with whispers. Guests immediately reached for their phones to verify the information. It's true, Isabella said calmly. Morgan Technologies is now worth over $28 billion. She looked at her father. So, those impossible dreams worked out rather well. No one spoke. Her father looked completely shocked. Marcus stared at the screen. Olivia couldn't believe what she was seeing. Isabella raised her glass. One final time, I'd like to make one toast to my mother, the only person who believed in me, and to the end of being called the family disappointment. She finished her drink, placed an envelope on the table, and walked toward the exit. Before leaving, she looked back. Everything you need to know is inside. Then she quietly walked away, leaving the room in complete silence.